Lina and the Silver Moonflower. Lina was an 8-year-old girl who lived in a small village near the forest, and every night she took her little lantern outside to watch the stars and dream of faraway places. And one clear evening she saw a gentle silver glow coming from a quiet clearing among the oak trees, so she walked closer to see a strange flower that shone like the moon, and she knelt down and whispered, "Hello." But the flower did not move, and instead she felt a soft breeze that carried a gentle voice saying, "Please help me find the lost moonlight." And Lina felt a warm kindness in her heart and answered, "Yes, I will help you," even though she did not know how to find moonlight. So the flower opened its petals just enough for Lina to see a tiny silver key on the ground by its stem, and she picked up the key and felt its cool, smooth metal, and she knew it was a special key for her quest. So she held it tightly and asked, "Where should I go to find the moonlight?" And the flower whispered, "Travel to Silver Hill at the edge of the forest," which made Lina feel excited because she loved adventures. So she thanked the flower, placed the key in her pocket, and tiptoed back along the forest path while the flower dimmed its glow so it would not frighten any night creatures. Then Lina hurried home and invited her best friend Tom to join her journey. And Tom, an 8-year-old boy with a small dog named Pip, came straight away with a bright lantern to light their way. And together they returned to the forest, where the ground was soft with fallen leaves and faint moonbeams shone through the trees. And as they walked they heard owls softly hoot and birds whisper goodnight, while Pip sniffed the earth and sometimes barked in delight at a rustling squirrel. And after a long walk they reached an old wooden bridge over a gentle stream glowing silver in the moonlight, and they crossed the bridge and found a narrow path that climbed up through tall pine trees until they came to the foot of Silver Hill, where 3 large stones were set in a row like seats under an ancient oak tree. And Lina and Tom sat there to rest and share a sandwich while Pip greeted the stones with little barks. And then Lina took out the silver key to ask it where to go next, and the key glowed softly in her hand, pointing its tip toward a steep track that wound up over the hill. So they finished their snack, picked up their lantern and the key, and climbed the hill together with steady steps, feeling each other's courage and the clear night air fill their lungs. And when they reached the top they saw a low wall of mossy stone with a round door set in its center. And the door had a keyhole shaped like a moon, so Lina slipped the silver key into the lock, turned it with a soft click, and the door swung open to reveal a quiet chamber inside the wall, where a circle of smooth stones stood around a shallow well filled with clear water, and the walls of the chamber were carved with images of moons, stars and flowers that glowed faintly under a single beam of moonlight falling through a round hole in the ceiling. And Lina and Tom felt a calm magic as they stepped forward. And Lina knelt by the well and looked into the water and saw her own face with a silver glow in her eyes. And then she heard the gentle voice again saying, "Pour the moonlight into the water." So she held her lantern high and tipped it slowly so a beam of warm light entered the well, and the water shone brighter like liquid silver. And Lina poured more light until the chamber glowed softly and the water began to bubble gently and rise as a mist that formed the shape of a moon maiden. And the maiden spoke in a soft, kind voice and said, "Thank you, Lina and Tom, for bringing the moonlight back to this hill." Then she reached out and gave each of them a small silver petal that glowed like the moon and said, "These petals hold the moon's gift and will guide you always." And as her voice faded back into the mist the chamber grew still, and Lina and Tom listened to her last words. "Remember, kindness and courage light every path." And then the mist settled back into the well, and the water lay calm, and the carvings on the walls seemed to shine in thanks. And Lina and Tom rose and walked out through the stone door, which closed behind them with a gentle thud, and they held their glowing petals in their hands and smiled wide. And they climbed down the hill with Pip running ahead, following the familiar path back past the bridge and beneath the pine trees to the forest edge where the stone seats stood. And they rested again under the stars before walking home. And when they reached Lina's cottage her grandmother greeted them with warm smiles and a soft blanket, and listened with shining eyes as Lina told the entire story of the silver flower, the hidden chamber, and the moon maiden. And her grandmother said, "You have done a brave and kind thing tonight." And then Lina showed her the 2 glowing petals, and her grandmother said, "Keep these close to your heart, And later that night Lina placed her silver petal on the bedside table and Tom put his under his pillow, and as they fell asleep they dreamed of moonlit flowers, of soft silver light, and of the promise that wherever there is kindness and courage, magic will follow.